Hey there, I'm Andrea Olson with Go Diaper Free, and today I'm going to record podcast episode 89 of the Go Diaper Free podcast. It is about constipation, so let's do this. Welcome to the Go Diaper Free podcast, where we're all about helping you potty your baby as early as birth. I'm your host, Andrea Olson, author and mom of 5 E-seed babies, all E-seed from birth, all out of diapers by walking. So this is episode 89, Constipation Woes, how to help a constipated baby become regular again. You can read the written version of today's show over at godiaperfree.com/89, where I'm also going to link to stuff that I mentioned in today's episode. I will also be replying to comments over there, so come on by when you're finished listening. So first of all, I just want to start this episode off by saying that this mostly applies to children, babies who have already started solids, whether you start at 4 months, 6 months, 9 months. Typically, we don't have constipation issues with babies who are exclusively breastfed. They typically will poop anywhere between 10 times a day to once every 7 days. And if they're exclusively breastfed, that is normal. Consult with your pediatrician for anything I've said today. I am not a doctor. I do not give medical advice. This is all just my opinion and other people's opinions that I've collected over the internet and over all of our experiences with our own babies. So consult with your doctor if you have any questions and before doing any kind of medical treatment with your baby. Okay, now that the disclaimer is gone, I want to define constipation, but I just want to say, usually babies who are E-seed from whatever age suffer far less constipation, and definitely majority of them, like 99% of them, avoid any kind of medical constipation whatsoever, which is very common if you toilet train after 2 or 3 years old, by doing EC. Because in EC, they're in a deep squat, shortens the length of the colon, and it definitely makes poops easier to pass. Now, when they start to sit on their own and sit on their toilet seat reducer and have more will control about things in general in life, like a young toddler, 12 to 18 months, sometimes we ECers can come across constipation then, because one hard poop, one experiment of how long can I hold this? Let me see how my bowels work, can ruin everything. It can make it get harder and drier and then hurt when it comes out, even bleed, and that can ruin it all. So that can start a bout of constipation as well as any kind of illness, a potty pause, stuff like that. So let's quickly define constipation because it's important to know what it is and what it isn't. So constipation in children is a condition in which your child may have fewer than 2 bowel movements a week, and some say 3, stools that are hard, dry, or lumpy, like little balls, little nuggets, stools that are difficult or painful to pass, and I would add stools that are, and that's from NIDDK, stools that are wide and big and abnormally large, like adult size or teen size, and you've got a baby pushing one of those out. So there are reasons that happens. Some of the reasons include diet, changes in diet, like starting solids, for example, change in mom's diet if we're doing breastfeeding or if we've introduced new foods to the child's diet. Any kind of illness can definitely cause constipation, usually related to the medication, if anything, that the child is taking. Refusal. So if you're going through a potty pause, which if you are, please check out my potty pause resolution mini course. It's very short, very digestible, no pun intended, and very much can get you out of a potty pause if you've had refusal for more than 1 or 2 weeks out of nowhere. Refusal can cause constipation because the way your body works, and I've learned this from working with my pelvic floor therapist after having my 5th baby, which if you haven't done that, please do. You learn so much. But if you wait too long because you've got a crying baby or you need a nurse or whatever, and when you get that first urge to poop, you don't go right then and you just wait and you hold it, yeah, your body kind of sucks it back in, for lack of prettier terms, and it's still there near the end, near the opening, and so it dries out and accumulates. You've got this drier, larger poop that's accumulated at the exit, and then when you're really ready to poop it out, you've got to strain extra hard to get it out, and it's really wide and difficult, and especially if you have pelvic floor issues or you've never worked on it after having a baby, you can have really painful poops that will cause you to have little, capillaries pop, and you've got a little bit of blood. And for a baby, the same kind of thing happens. If they wait too long, that accumulates, gets hard, gets dry, and is very hard to pass. So when they finally do stop refusing long enough to pass it, it hurts. And again, one hard, hurtful poop can ruin it all. So waiting too long. Not enough fluids can also cause constipation, obviously. And it's a good sign on your baby's, is it fontanelle? The little soft thing on the top of their head and the back of their head that closes up as they get older. You can tell if a baby is dehydrated, my pediatrician told us, by if it's depressed and it's not plump and full. Again, look these things up. I'm not a doctor, but not enough fluids obviously can cause constipation. And that can happen after a child's been sick. If they're dehydrated and they're not getting fluids and absorbing them, they can get constipated. Too many constipating foods. Can we please look up constipating foods? Let's see. Foods that constipate, because if you don't get a chance to Google it, I'm going to do it for you. Alcohol. No worries with that, kids. Gluten-containing foods can constipate. Processed grains, milk, and dairy products. If you introduce milk or dairy to your child's diet, it could constipate. They're saying red meat, fried or fast foods, and persimmons. Who knew that? Foods that can ease constipation, which we'll get to in a second, which would be solutions, include water, yogurt, and kefir, so something that is dairy that is fermented. Clear soups, prunes, wheat bran, broccoli, apples, and pears. We'll cover some of that later. But basically, too many constipating foods. Bananas, also known to constipate. And what do they start eating when they start eating solids? Babies love bananas, of course. So we want to make sure if we're having constipation, we want to limit those. Another cause of constipation is to have that hard poop once and then just want to avoid pooping because you don't want to recreate that same situation for yourself. So we have poop refusal can cause more constipation. It's a vicious cycle. And that in turn makes it dry and large and hard and often harder to pass as well. So there are just a few causes of constipation for babies. And the side effects of constipation are interesting. So oftentimes people will come to me with their EC issues in my Q&As or whatever, or in my book owners group and say, hey, we've got this thing. We've got lots of small P's happening over a short period of time. Why? And my first instinct is to say, because your baby might be constipated. Now, even if they're going to the bathroom every single day, they still might be constipated. They might not fully be letting all that go. They might have some poop that's just lodged in there and just won't come out. It's being stubborn because it was a big lump of it. And that pushes against the bladder and causes less to come out in little spurts over a short period of time. So it can be something to rule out. Resistance can be caused by constipation because, my gosh, I don't want to put myself through that again, so I'm not going to potty willingly. Constipation can cause children to get up and not stay seated on the mini potty or try to get off the toilet reducer. So, yeah, if your child has a sitting problem, maybe it's just because they really don't feel comfortable pooping since they've started solids or had a diet change. Another thing that constipation can cause is for your child to poop just a little and then like 10 minutes later poop another little bit and poop another little bit. They're trying to let it out a little bit at a time to exercise control maybe, but probably because there's some constipation underlying. And in that case, we want to soften the stools, make them happen daily if possible, and help your baby relax so they can pass them easily. I do have some solutions for that. We'll get to those. Okay. Sometimes constipation can cause your child to have blood in their stools or on the toilet paper, which might shock you and surprise you. First time I saw that with my newborn, I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And that was normal, I was told, to have a speck here and there. But when you've got a young toddler, young baby, and there's a little bit of blood on the toilet paper or stool after they've gone, it can often indicate that you have a constipated child. It's just tearing at those capillaries at the sides, popping them. A hard stomach can be caused by constipation. So if you push on their stomach and it's just like rock hard, often infant massage can resolve part of that. But yeah, that's usually something caused by constipation. You got a hard belly. Constipation, believe it or not, can cause severe irritation in a baby. So where they're just not themselves and they're messed up all day long, they're just irritable and they won't sleep, etc. On the same note, constipation can cause disruption in naps and sleep. It can also cause toilet refusal, straight up, won't use the toilet. And it can cause clinginess. This is my daughter's last 4 months. She's 17 months now. She's been battling constipation for 4 months now because she had one hard poop that ruined it all. And which is part of the reason why I'm doing this episode today, but also everybody's like, please tell us all the options. But she gets super clingy when she needs to poop and doesn't want to. So there's a need here that's conflicting with another need. I want to stay comfortable and safe in my body, and I also don't feel safe, so I need you, and I really need to poop, but I don't want to. Okay, so now let's get to some solutions. But by the way, wait. Constipation can also cause, if it's serious, can cause fever and changes in energy levels in your baby. If you get a fever along with constipation, you have got to see your doctor, your pediatrician. And for any other thing that you feel any kind of iffy about, call them, okay? Again, I'm not a medical doctor. This is just all my opinion. Okay, now for the solutions. We can change their diet. We can add in those foods that can ease constipation. You can Google it, but I've got a few up here, like water and yogurt and prunes and stuff like that. We always add prune packs. The Just Prunes by Plum Organics is a really good one. Sometimes they outgrow those and they won't eat them, so you can mix that with yogurt. Prunes, like the actual dried fruit, dried plums, you can feed those to your baby kind of like the same way you do raisins, just chop them up. And often they like those. You can feed prune juice, which again, they're like, after a couple times, they'll get smart. They'll be like, this doesn't taste good. You can do apple juice or pear juice, my pediatrician recommended. And you can add more liquids to their diet. Make sure they're absorbing the liquids. If they've been sick recently, you want to do Pedialyte, something like that. Infant massage can often help. If you're looking at your baby, you go on the left side up, to the right, down, and then over to the middle. And you can look that up. I'm not a certified massage therapist, so don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Our focus with solutions, all of these are three things: to soften the stools so that they pass easily, to make these poops happen daily, and to help your baby relax so that they can pass them more easily. Part of helping your baby relax is for you, mom or dad or caregiver, to chill out and relax yourself. There is not toilet fear or poop fear or any of that crazy stuff that 3 years of diapering would cause. If you're seeing a 0 to 18-month baby, they haven't developed that same kind of, I'm comfortable pooping in my diaper and now you're making me poop in a potty and I'm scared and I'm not going to do it. This is different. This is usually much more physical, much more related to environment. So you need to relax and they'll relax. Okay, a couple more solutions. So these are the things that worked for me. Toddler suppositories with a 13-month-old. I was told by the woman at the drugstore that I could use these. I would just break it in half because they're made for 2 and up. And again, you do your own research, make your own decision. I'm not responsible for you. We're all responsible for ourselves, right? But this worked for us, you guys. We tried an enema, a baby enema first, and I've had an enema, and I personally thought it was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. So my husband was like, oh, no, she'll be fine. She was miserable. So I wouldn't even try those. But toddler suppositories, broken in half, put the sharp point of it in, pop, and then you wait about 5 minutes and you get a poop. I just carry them around naked while that thing is in their butt. And then when they start to get really squirmy, about 5 minutes later, I pop them on the potty and it produces a poop. Oftentimes I'll also put them on the toilet seat reducer and I will walk away. And once I give privacy, oh my gosh, that's another cause of constipation. Not giving your child privacy. They want it starting at 6 to 8 months. That's why young toddlers hide behind a couch and do it in private. Babies are born really, really sensitive about this. It is not socially appropriate to poop in front of other people. So when you're doing a solution like this, you have done the suppository, you've waited 5 minutes, they start to kick around and they need to go. Set them on the potty, the toilet seat reducer, as long as you feel safe doing that. They're not going to jump off and say, oh, I just forgot something, and go grab your drink from the other room and come back. When you are gone, listen around the corner and you'll usually hear them start bearing down and pooping because they have privacy and they feel safe. After all, you guys, we are mammals. Okay, so that's what worked for us. That and the prune apple pear juice and actual prunes and prune packs with yogurt. That all worked for us. And when she skips a day and then she's miserable again the next day and won't go, we are right on that suppository once again. And over the last few, she told us to use them for 2 weeks straight, just 2 weeks. After 2 weeks of doing that, we got her on a regular daily pattern. We didn't need to use them again for another month. And then she I'm going to wait again. And another day passed. And on the third day, there was no rising. There was a suppository given. Okay. The other thing, you can Google poop candy. If you mix coconut oil with peanut butter or chocolate and then freeze or refrigerate it, that coconut oil can really help a bowel movement to happen. I like to make homemade coconut cream ice cream with frozen bananas and frozen strawberries. Just you can Google that too, but that coconut is really good for lubing things up. Magnesium powder, I've heard this from another mom. I haven't tried it, but I did take Calm. That's another brand of magnesium powder while I was pregnant for restless leg syndrome, helping me sleep, helping me relax. And also it loosened the bowels. So she's used it on her infant, but again, do your own research and see if you can do that. Magnesium oil on the surface, on the skin, on the belly is what another mom suggested on Instagram the other day. And a child-sized dose of laxative, consult with your pediatrician, but little doses of laxative could help as well if you're facing something. And honestly, I usually don't just revert to my pediatrician for everything because I'm a pretty natural mama and I can handle stuff. I've had 5 kids. However, with Twyla, I decided to ask her opinion. And the suppositories and the juices and everything were her first choice. Her second choice was, if this doesn't work, we're going to give a child-sized dose of an adult laxative. The other thing I really want you to do if you're working on a solution is keep a log, no pun intended, write down on your calendar, just if you have a calendar up in your kitchen or on your phone, pooped, on which day you pooped, because you will lose track of what days it happened and you want to get on a regular rhythm. So again, if you have fever with this or changes in energy level and your child is not normal, you need to probably see a doctor right away. But that's everything I have about constipation. Please come to the blog right after this and let me know if you've dealt with constipation. What are you going to try from today's episode? If you've dealt with it before, what has worked for you and what hasn't? I'd love to see you over at the blog. And again, the written version is over there along with the comments at godiaperfree.com/89. I interact with all the comments, so please come over there, especially if you have any questions. You guys are such a wonderful resource for one another. So please come and add your ideas. It's like a not crowdfunding, but like a crowd. Let's collect everything from everybody and put it on one post so all the moms and dads can benefit and the babies. All right, I'll see you over there. Till next time, when we share stories from indigenous Arctica and the Americas in our third and final part of storytelling about diaper-free around the world right now in indigenous cultures. Until then, happy pottying, y'all. I'm Andrea Olson, and you have been listening to the Go Diaper Free podcast at godiaperfree.com, and I'll see you next time. And there you go. Clicking save. Thank you guys so much for watching me record my podcast. So much fun. Comment below. Do you have any constipation remedies? Please share. Is there anything in this episode that you've tried and worked or that you're going to try and then report back and let us know if it worked? And I will see you next time. Hit the bell and hit subscribe. I will be having some more videos that I'm pulling up from all the archives of all of my kids' EC experiences that I will be adding to YouTube soon. So stay posted until then. Take care.